Okay, one more lesson, and here we go with Unit 1, Lesson 7 and 8. Um, um, what you really need to consider at this point is that this is kind of a revision or kind of reassurance of the past information we've taken on the same unit. So let's just see what we got here. As you can see in the picture, there is a fire emergency taking place, and there's somebody pointing at it and talking about it. Other people are watching. Someone is running in the street, um, but apparently I don't see any uh, fire fire station firefighters, whatever, or coming in, I mean, from the fire station or any ambulance. So let's see what they really want you to know about this at this point. In part A goes, what should you do before you begin reading? Well, it's more about teaching you about the skills you should consider when you read any text. And if you notice that I try to focus on teaching you how to work with vocabulary and grammar because I want you to think in the same way. If you can grasp the way of thinking or the pattern of thinking with the same steps, then that's how it will work out for you, and it just make you give you the right language processing in your brain. Now, before you begin reading a new passage, always take a minute or two to look at it. I mean, looking at the pictures and the spaces. Don't try to underline, or sorry, don't try to understand everything yet. So you don't have to be this Mr. or Mrs. Genius where you just have to understand everything at the moment. Just look at the title, the pictures, and the way it is arranged. So focus on the title, the pictures, and the way it's arranged. Well, I mean by that the spaces. For example, you got this paragraph. In this paragraph, there is a space in the middle. There's a space under it. There is a title, which is the question, and then you got this little black box here. So this is how it's arranged. Try to get a general idea about its subject. For example, if we're reading this text, an idea can be taken from or gotten from the title, as in like what should you do before you begin reading. Now look at the passage that begins on page 17. We'll get to this now. Don't try to read it yet. Just answer the following questions in class with your teacher. Well, presuming I'm your teacher, I'm going to be the student too and trying to make a head with you, but you really need to pass me on that when you, I mean, try to guess the answer before I do it. That's how you play things with this video. This is page 12. We're going to page 17. Um, you really need to keep a good visual memory of what you see. So, oopsie. Yeah, I'll take a look. Now there is a background. It's full of fires, and there's a large title here. It goes what you should know about fires. And then look at the text. There is a lining numeration for numbering, sorry, for the lines, like 5, 10, 15, and 20. And pretty much that's it. There are 5 paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there is a short or small title. It's called Introduction. Now, let's look at the questions we're supposed to be answering. Sorry for, taking time with this. Question 1, what's the title of the passage? What you should know about fires. On what page does the passage end? Well, it starts on the same page and it ends on the same page. Now, 3, there are 3 main sections in the passage. What are the titles of each section? Well, there are sections, which means it doesn't really end on the same page. So let's just get back to it and try to figure out. It starts on page 17, as you can notice, but actually, oopsie, it continues here, does it? Yeah, it does. So it doesn't finish at this point, see? It continues here too with another title. This is the 3rd section title. Oops, no, actually. it's just one page. So, three main parts of the passage. There's an introduction here, as apparently, but there's not much continuation about it. I think Mr. Curriculum Designer, we need some kind of explanation about what's happening here. Anyway, don't just focus on this, just get to focus on the sections. The pictures with the passage will also help you. Look at page 30. What do the pictures there tell you in general about the passage? Oh, it took me a lot of brain to get to this. Well, this means one thing, you know. The passage starts in Unit 1 and it continues up to Unit 2. See, there are 3 pages. I'm not so sure what's the numeration of the page here. It's 19. Oh, oopsie. So I have to flip the pages up to 30 and be such a smart person. I'm sorry, Mr. Curriculum Designer, but what's the point of this kind of mess up, you know? I really don't know. So sorry, students, we're not going to focus on this. I'll try just to focus on the things that would really make sense in building your language, and building your skills in reading in case you're taking any TOEFL or IELTS test. Probably because you really need it at the university as well. Now, in section B, there is a short paragraph about how else can pictures help you. Well, you have seen that some of the words in the titles are new. What do you do when you see a new word? Well, I want you to think with me here at this point, like what do you do when you see a new word? Maybe you want to start thinking about it. For example, let's get back to this part. New words. What do you do when you have new words? If you remember last time, somewhere at the beginning, we talked about new vocabulary, and I said there's a chance that you can understand it out of the context of the sentence. Maybe it solves a problem and provides a solution, and maybe it has these parts or syllables which can actually tell you what the meaning is. For example, X can mean before. So, if it's an ly, it tells you it is an adverb. So, if it's a meant, it does tell you it's a noun. All you really need to do is to actually look at the words and try to guess the meaning if you don't have a dictionary, which is what's going to happen in your real life. Anyway, these things take time and your teacher will not always be with you when you're reading. There are sometimes faster and simpler ways to find out about the meaning of a word. Now, pay attention to the fact that in real life, if there's a word spoken by somebody that you don't know, don't just try to guess it like all the time. Ask about it. Just say like, please, what does this mean? Excuse me, what did you just say? Can you repeat that? Pardon me, can you just repeat that word? And so on. Now look at the titles, smoke detectors and home fire drills for page 31. And then look at the pictures below. Well, that's the page, as you can see, 31. Look at the pictures. We've got picture 1, which is about smoke detector, and in the other one there is a family discussing or talking, and then there is an image here relevant to the second one about a house that's clean and good. So it's very clear that the word smoke detectors indicates the first picture, and the second one is a home fire drill, is what the family here is talking about. Now choose the correct answers to these questions. A smoke detector is, well, let's say you don't know what the word detector is. Can you remember what you see or what you hear from movies? Like detective, it's somebody, but here there is a smoke detector, and a smoke, you know what a smoke is. And let's presume you don't know, let me give you a hint, it's a cigarette, and maybe like a cigarette being lit, and then there is a smoke. Maybe there is a smoke coming out of a window of a burning house. There's a smoke of anything burning. Now, there three options to work on. A practice for what you do in a fire, and an instrument which knows when there is a fire, and there's a kind of fire extinguisher. Well, you don't just practice with a machine. The machine doesn't practice. An instrument which knows when there is a fire, yeah, that's pretty much makes sense. There is an instrument that can tell you when there is a fire because of the smoke coming out. A kind of an extinguisher, no, because it doesn't pretty much provide you with water that can puts down the fire, but actually it just tells you there is something happening. Now, the second one goes, a fire drill is a practice for what to do in a fire, an instrument which knows when there is a fire, and a kind of fire extinguisher. Now, if you're going to say that B is a choice you've taken for question one, and a kind of fire extinguisher, you don't really see any fire extinguisher in this picture. So it's more of a practice about what to do in a fire. This is the last answer you're left with. So you really need to focus on the fact that elimination is a really good strategy to start with. You want to take away all the non-functional meanings or words. So you just want to cross out all the options that don't work. Okay? Now, with the last page, I'm not sure if this is the last page, but I think we're done with more than 10 minutes, so goodbye for now.